Yes, them have the heart of a pagan. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil a move with Satan. Righteous trod in the countenance of the Almighty One. Them have the heart of demons. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil a move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Good people see hostility rising daily.
All right, go ahead.
The Roman triumphus was a civil ceremony and religious rite of ancient Rome held.
Stop right there. That's the important thing to understand about when you saw Barack Obama get inaugurated. I know y'all caught hell down there in D.C. I know it was rough down there. I can only imagine. Officer Kahan told me they had Barack Obama action figures. I said, well, hey, that is amazing. Well, listen, here's where it comes back from. It comes back from the civil and religious ceremony of a Roman triumph. You heard that term before, triumph, right? Well, that is a parade. And here's what's important to understand firstly about it, is that it is civil as well as religious. When you saw Barack Obama standing up there, now Barack Obama did a speech. It was songs in between. It was people listening. What would you call that any other day? Church. That's what he had on the steps of the Capitol building. Church. Had the black bitch out there singing and everything, excuse my language. Yeah. Just like in the church. That was a religious service. And he did the main sermon. In Rome it was a religious service as well as a civil service. Which means what? Who knows? Very simple. Kubalama.
Civil meaning that the people, it's like the leaders of the people and their public image or what have you.
Civil is synonymous with civic or city. Something that it's done by the city. At the same time, it's also religious. Meaning there's usually a separation between something that's civil or civic and something that's religious. But in this case, in other cases, they are combined. You understand? Once again, when you serve Barack Obama, you are betraying Christ. That worship of Barack Obama, it is worship. That's why we call it that. It is worship. It is religious. Keep going. 1 second. Go ahead. I made a good cup of coffee tonight. God damn, who made this? I don't know what y'all doing. Go ahead.
Held to publicly celebrate and sanctify the military achievement of an army commander who had won.
Army what?
An army commander.
What is the president's title in the military in America? Y'all know it. Commander-in-Chief. He is the official head of the United States military. And in Rome, that's how it was. Read. I missed a few words you read in there. Read it one more time. That last part.
Held to publicly celebrate and sanctify.
Celebrate and sanctify. The real inauguration, the real swearing in was done the day before. It was done the day before and it was in private. Because according to the Constitution, it must be done, I think, January the 20th. He did it on that day just for the public, just to make it line up with Martin Luther King. But the real swearing in was done the day before in private with 3 people in the room. That was to celebrate him. That was to line him up with Martin Luther King so now he could take his place on your grandmama's wall alongside John Kennedy and the white Jesus. So now you have to make a space for him. You're going to have to now make a space for Barack Obama alongside Martin, John Kennedy, excuse me, what's his real name? Mark. Is that his name? Michael. Alongside Michael King, John Kennedy, the white Jesus, and now Barack Obama. Who had their hand up just now? Go ahead, Khan.
It was crazy because they had it at 11 o'clock, right? That's with all the church service. So the churches came out there.
It was the church service. Keep going. Let me finish this up. There's a lot to this. Go ahead.
an army commander who had won great military successes, or originally and traditionally one who had successfully completed a foreign war.
Okay, that's why Julius Caesar had his. He went off and conquered the Gauls or France, conquered different countries. That's where it comes from. Why? Because it originally comes from Egypt. It comes from the Greek Olympiad, which comes from the Egyptian custom. Oh man, I forget the name of it. It begins with an M. It's in my book somewhere. We taught that before when the Olympics was here, all right? It comes from the Egyptian custom of proving their pharaoh every 4 years, proving he was fit, and that he was fit to rule, so he'd have to run a race every 4 years, all right? The Greeks took that, called it the Olympiad, then the Romans took it and turned it into a Roman triumph. All right, keep going.
In Republican tradition, only the Senate could
grant me when it says Republican tradition. These are words you hear every day.
Okay, that's what they call America, right? The Republic.
America is a republic. That's correct. What does that mean? Who knows? Yes.
Is republic the people's?
Close. Y'all heard of democracy, correct? Democracy comes from demos. Demos means the people. All right? Or the demographic, like the people, right? Now, democracy is when the people choose, right? Now, a republic is when you hire a person to represent the people, meaning, for instance, potholes in the street, right? Now, in a democracy, you have to take a vote every time you wanted to fill a pothole, or take a vote every time you wanted to raise a tax, or take a vote every time you wanted to decide what day the trash is going to get picked up. In a republic, you pick a person who then decides if they're going to raise a tax, if they're going to fill the pothole, if they're going to put a new traffic light in. Everybody stands. That's a republic. At one time, Rome used to be a republic. Rome ceased being a republic during the time of who? Julius Caesar, who was named dictator for life. After him, all the 12 Caesars who are prophesied in the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha, the 11th and 12th chapter, all the rest of them turned Rome into an empire, where an emperor ruled for life over Rome, and no more did the people so-called rule, or the people's representatives, okay? So in Republican tradition, that's what it means. The Senate, keep going, Cabal.
Only the Senate could grant a triumph.
So the Senate had to approve for you to have a triumph when Rome was a republic. Keep going.
Could grant a triumph. The origins and development of this honor were obscure.
They don't know right now. Esau doesn't know where the origin comes from. Commanding General YAHANNA does know where the origins come from. Keep going.
Roman historians placed the first triumph in the mythical past.
Keep going.
On the day of his triumph, the general who wore regalia that identified him as near divine or near kingly.
As what?
Near divine or
near divine or near kingly. Okay, that was the point. So he would dress up in all purple, paint his face red, make himself look like a god, because on that day, which was customary in Roman traditions, everybody got to be a god one day. This day, he was a god on his triumph. Go ahead.
And a laurel wreath was held above his head.
Keep going.
He rode in a chariot through the streets of Rome.
He did what?
He rode in a chariot through the streets of Rome.
That sound familiar? He'd ride on a chariot through the streets of Rome. Go ahead.
In unarmed procession.
In unarmed procession, meaning what? He was not riding through Rome with a gun, or with, back in those times, with arrows or with a sword. He was unarmed, out with the people, waving, getting to know him, not like a conqueror with weapons, but like one of them. Hey, how's everybody doing? Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Unarmed procession. Go ahead.
With his army and the spoils of his war.
Who was with him? His army and the spoils of his war. This is what you saw on Barack Obama's inauguration. Who was with him? All the military, All the cabinet, everybody who was with him, they all march alongside of him, march in front of him to show what a great, powerful leader he is. That's why they call it political race a campaign. What does the word campaign mean?
Campaign, it means for war.
It's a war. It's a war. It's a campaign. In American tradition, they're saying this man has won the war. He's the president now, so every time he wins this war, we give him a triumph. He won the war against Mitt Romney. He won the campaign. Keep going.
At Jupiter's temple on the Capitol Line Hill.
Say where?
At Jupiter's temple.
Jupiter's temple? Where? Where was Jupiter's temple?
On the Capitol Line.
On the Capitol Line Hill. That sounds familiar. That's where the triumph was held. On the Capitol Line Hill. Rome had 7 hills, right? You can look this up. The 7 hills of Rome was where it was their governmental powers. The Palatine Hill was where the business, commerce, trade was done, like Wall Street, right? The Capitoline Hill was where the Senate was, right? Jupiter's temple. Jupiter was their #1 god. Jupiter, otherwise known as, who was he in Greece? Saturn? Zeus. Was Zeus Jupiter? Check it out. I can't remember. But he was their #1 god. Then you had a few other hills, which you can look the names up, that represented their different governments. The Capitoline Hill was where the Senate or the Republic ruled from. What do they call that today? Capitol Hill. Remember, that's why in Rome there was actually 7 hills. Meaning there were small mountains that you had to walk up steps and get to where the government ruled in those places. In America, they just call it Capitol Hill because America is the beast that causes all to worship the first beast. You understand? America, like in the book of Revelations, it causes everybody to go be Roman again. Mainly through that the Pope's son sitting on the floor of every school in the Israelite school, the U.P.K, to be stepped on. Caesar Borgia, that Roman. And also Capitol Hill. Okay, that Roman custom, that's where Caesar had his triumph.
Yes, them have the heart of a pagan. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil a move with Satan. Righteous trod in the countenance of the Almighty One. Them have the heart of demons. The children have the heart of a lion, I know. Evil a move with Satan. Righteous walk in the countenance of the Almighty One. Poor people see hostility rising daily. Ignorant multiply brutality. I see that they run gone left mommy. Fi struggle the hard road with 5 beginning. Our I see baby having baby. Nothing that happen no do.